Weinmann for all their hard work and efforts they put into this project. This was by far the best group project I ever had, and I think it's amazing what the groups have done in only 3 months. And I also want to thank our supervisor, our lovely, lovely supervisor, Daniel Martens. Thank you for all your hard work. He was even willing to meet with us during his holidays. So let's jump right in. Who's Weinmann? Weinmann produces medical devices like defibrillators and ventilators for ambulances. And most of the German ambulances use these devices. So why are we here today? Because we built an app for Weinmann. But why do we build software in the first place? We build software to fix a certain problem or to improve a process. So we sat down and analyzed the whole medical domain to see what we can improve. We analyzed the ecosystem of ambulances and hospitals working together. And we came up with 2 major problems. The first one is the protocol. Obviously, there needs to be written a protocol when the ambulance is driving to the hospital. And these Weinmann devices, they measure a lot of data. So one could think the protocol could be generated automatically, but that's not the case. It's still done the old school way, with pen and paper. So that's really time consuming, but that's not the only problem. Here's the scenario. 2 medics arrive at the emergency spot, they help the patient, stabilize him, get him into the ambulance, and then they have to write this protocol. So how does this protocol look like? Maybe something like this. But mostly that's not the case, because they have no time to write everything down properly. It's much more the odds that it will look something like this. And that's a huge problem, because there's a huge risk of information loss. But what's even worse, if some information will be forgotten, so the doctors don't really know what happened to the patient on the drive to the hospital. The second problem, communication. When the ambulance is on the way to the hospital does not really know what's happened and who is arriving to them. They roughly know about the patient and the injury, but nothing more. There's no good communication, or no real communication. And if there's something that's really need to be told, there are some ways, but no unified way which we can protocol. And to tackle these 2 problems, here's what my team and I came up with. Yeah? Or we didn't? Let's see. Damn. Ah, here we go. Oops. Now, let's see.
An accident can happen today, at any time. Thankfully, we have paramedics come to our rescue. When performing the life-saving actions in the ambulance, it's hard for the paramedics to remember everything that has been done so far. Arriving at the hospital, the paramedic must tell the staff what has happened, but important information might get lost in the turmoil. So let's stop here and see how our app can help save lives. Well, we can't save anyone from accidents, but we can improve the treatment of the patient. As soon as paramedics arrive and treat the patient, our app comes in handy. To get a better overview of the situation, vital parameters of Weinmann devices are displayed on the app. Furthermore, the paramedic can protocol his actions easily with just a few clicks. That might not be possible in extremely stressful situations. No problem. With voice recognition, the activities are easily recorded by speech. At the hospital, the staff can check the data on a website. Not only the current location of the ambulance can be seen, the website also shows the vital parameters of the patient as well as all the treatments the paramedic applied. With the provided information, the hospital can prepare for the arrival of the patient. Movement staff are ready, and if need be, surgery can start immediately. Thanks to our app, the patient got the best treatment possible. No time was wasted, saving them has never been this easy.
Glad it worked out. So, let's talk serious here. We want to save life. And how can we save life? By saving precious time. And time is gold, especially in a domain where every second can decide whether a human is going to live or if a human is going to die. So, let's have a quick walk through our app Vivre and see how we can help. So the scenario is the same. John got injured in a car accident. This is John. So, let's see. The ambulance arrives with the medic, and the medic has our app. Medic, get in here. Here's our medic. And let's see. He comes in, he looks at John, he stabilizes him. And now he connects the Weinmann devices to John. I will now show the application while our medic is helping John. So, I open up the app, and here our medic can choose to select a new emergency, select an old emergency, or create a new one. He will select a new emergency. And here's the first section of our application, the monitoring part. Here, our medic can see all the vital signs of the patient, of John. He can see the heart rate, the pulse, and the temperature. But he can also see the status, for example, the battery status of the Weinmann devices. Also the fields, the color of the fields are the same like on the Weinmann devices. So the user easily can recognize which color belongs to which field. For example, the heart rate is always green. When our medic now presses on one of the fields, you can see the trend graph of the vital sign. This is really interesting because now, with the whole history, can better operate on the patient. Oh no, we have a device alert. Seems like John's heart rate just went over 120 beats per minute. Our medic has to immediately help him by injecting some ketamine. He will now inject 100 milligrams of ketamine to John. Alright, so now John is stabilized and our medic brings him into the ambulance. And here comes the second part of our second screen of our app. Here at the bottom you can see the automatically created event. These ones are created when the vital signs on the Weinmann devices measure some numbers which are not ordinary. For example, when the heart rate falls or rises really high. These automatic events are then added to the protocol of our app. So, but we can also create manual events. These automatic events are only from the Weinmann devices, and the manual events are from the medic. For example, our medic just injected 100 milligrams of ketamine. He can then tap on the plus and select Add Event, Medicine Event. Here you can type in the name of the medicine, for example, ketamine, or choose between recently used medicines, for example, amoxicillin. But we are using here ketamine. And now you can also type in the doses, for example, 100 milligrams. But you can also scan the barcode of the medicine, but that's not the case here. So we will save that event. And now in our protocol we have two events saved, the automatically created one and the medicine event. John got injured in a car accident, so it may be really important for the doctors in the ambulance to know how the accident went, because the spine may got hurt really bad. So our medic can now create a photo event to show that. Tap on the sign, add photo event with the title accident spot and the description of, I don't know, spot of the accident. They can come up with something more creative than me. So then they can tap on the plus to add a photo. Luckily, our medic has already taken a photo and we will add that to our event. So, but there's another thing, like the environment is really important for the accident. So let's take a picture of the environment here. Such a lovely picture. So this goes into the protocol as well. So let's save this event. And now we have three events in our protocol. The automatically generated one, the medicine event, and the photo event. Oh damn, another device alert. The heart rate just dropped below 50. our medic has to immediately help John by reviving him. And this is the case, a really normal case, that the medics have no time to protocol things because they're using both of their hands for the patient. And in our app, we have integrated speech recognition. With the speech recognition, the medic can say a keyword, then talk to the phone, and say another keyword to stop it. The title bar gets green, and it's recorded as an audio event. So let's try it out. Start recording. The patient has gone into cardiac arrest. We need immediate help at arrival. Prepare the shock room. Stop. Our app recorded now an audio message, and it's added to the protocol as a hands-free audio. So let's get to the third part of our app, the transfer. In the transfer section of our app, our medic can choose to which hospital he's driving to. For example, Universitätsklinikum. He can select it and then can add optional patient data. For example, the first name, John, the second name, Johnson. Not very creative either. Gender, male, and the age about 30. And gender and age are the most important informations here. You can also choose to add a picture of the insurance card of John. Alright, so now we can start the transmission. And when we confirm the transmission, all of the data is sent to the hospital. But not only the vital signs and the trend graphs, also the protocol with all of its events. And on top of that, the live location of the ambulance. So the hospital knows when we are arriving, so they can prepare everything. So I will confirm the transfer now, and let's see how this looks from the hospital side of view. Here they can see all the patients which are going to arrive to the hospital. They can then choose the one which is arriving the soonest. For example, John Johnson. Here they can see all the data, from the accident spot, for example, or the real accident spot. But also, they can hear the audio message we made. The patient has gone into cardiac arrest. Need immediate help at arrival. Prepare the shock room. We can see the automatic events, for example, the heart rate going above 120 beats per minute, and also the medicine event of ketamine. But not only that, the trend graphs are also here. For example, the blood pressure, the oxygen saturation, or the heart rate. And below that, the live location of the ambulance in a nice map, and with the estimated location. Yeah, it's also working. So, all right, so with all three main features, the monitoring, which made it easy for the medic to observe all vital trends and trend graphs, to operate better on John. With the protocol, it made it possible to protocol the whole emergency in modern events like audio events and photo events, and not like with pen and paper where only half of the emergency gets protocoled, and with the transfer where the risks, we minimize the risk of information loss because everything is sent to the hospital where they can prepare for everything. So our two problems here. The protocol, how did we solve that? Instead of having a bad protocol which can't be read, we now have a clean interface in the application and on the website, so everything is protocoled properly. The communication problem, how did we solve that? Instead of having a hospital where no one really knows what's arriving to them, we now have a website where you can see the protocol with all of its events, the trend graph, and the location, live location of the ambulance. So they can prepare everything, so when John drops in, everything is ready. So with our app Vivre, we help John's life to be saved. So the take-home message here is, with Vivre, saving life has never been this easy. Thank you very much for your attention.